Hi again. Here we go, blog number 2. I want to start off today by giving a couple of expectations for these video blogs. First and foremost, they're not going to be long. They're going to be pretty brief. I will use my written blog to elaborate on the topics that I talk about in these video blogs. So if you want to check out more information or get more in depth with a certain topic, then that's where to go. I want to honor all of our time and recognize that none of us have time to be sitting here listening to a 20 or 30-minute spiel. So there's that. These will be brief, quick, to the point, and hopefully impactful. The other expectation is that I am going to try to track them so that they follow the written blog somewhat. I'm sure there will be times when I have one-off or random video blogs. So you can expect a little bit of that. But for the most part, I'm going to try to complement the written blog with these video blogs. And then I guess the third expectation is I'm not a professional on-camera person. And I don't have a lot of time or energy or knowledge about editing. And so if I goof up some of the times, I'm probably just going to leave it in here. So please just forgive my messiness at times and bear with me as I improve on my skills doing this. Today I want to talk a little bit about something called parts work, and I'll explain a little bit more about that. There was a therapeutic modality developed by a brilliant man named Richard Schwartz. It's called internal family systems, IFS for short. And it was developed as a therapeutic modality, but really it's a way of life. Once you embrace it and learn about it, you can apply it to every conversation, every decision you make, every moment of every day, and everything you do. So I'm hoping that this will be useful, not just from a perspective of dealing with difficult things in your life or struggles, but also just from like the way you interact with people, the way you go about your daily life, the way you parent, the way you approach your workday. If you've seen the movie Inside Out, that's a really awesome example of what IFS kind of looks like. It's this perspective that we all have this family of parts within us. And in the movie Inside Out, which is a Disney Pixar film, there's a little girl named Riley that's going through some transition and some difficult times in her life. And we get to zoom in by watching this film and watch all the interaction and the going-ons of these little critters inside of her head. She's got joy and sadness and disgust and fear and anger. And they're depicted as these characters, these animated characters who are different colors, have very different personalities, different morals, different goals for Riley, different experiences, different histories. IFS is like that. So if you think of those little critters as the various parts within us and just recognize that they're there and there's a lot of them and we're not getting rid of them anytime soon. So the beautiful thing about this is that they're all trying to do helpful things for us. So for example, I've got a part of me that is a little bit of a perfectionist. And I like things done a certain way. I like things to be very organized. So this is kind of my perfectionist part of me. It has served me very well in life. It has helped me to accomplish a lot of things in really productive, organized, and successful ways. Now, when it goes overboard and blows up and takes over, it bites me in the butt. So those are the times when I start to feel anxiety, I start to feel panic. Maybe the people around me are wondering what the heck has gotten into me. The thing that just came up in my head was I feel like if you have a bride getting ready for her wedding and she's got that really strong perfectionist part within her, that's what they call bridezilla. She wants it a certain way, happening at a certain time in a certain order. And I was not bridezilla. I was not, but I have seen some. So that's just an example of one part of us. Some of the other examples are maybe we have a part of us that procrastinates. Maybe we have a part of us that gets really defensive sometimes. Maybe we have a part of us that shuts down. And when we feel conflict, we don't want to deal with it. And we'd rather just isolate, withdraw, shut down, and not give an inch to the person that we're in conflict with. Some of us have an inner critic part that really kind of beats us up and says, oh, like, you can't do that. You're not good enough for that. You're not smart enough for that. They're not going to listen to you. So just to acknowledge, we all have these parts and they really truly are trying to help us. And I'll go over some of that in some of the written blog and in some future video blogs about how and why they're trying to help us. I'll also elaborate on how that bites us in the ass sometimes and what that all looks like and why that happens, why they come back in such a big way. So for now, though, I think it's really helpful just to start acknowledging these different parts of us. So as you go through your day, I really, really want to encourage you to experiment and play around with that a little bit and just notice, maybe you're in a meeting and you're feeling at a work meeting and you're feeling like no one's listening to you and you feel inside like you're getting frustrated. Maybe there's a part coming up inside that has real issues with feeling dismissed or unheard. Just notice that and be like, oh, there's that kind of critter inside of me. And if you're visual, like I am, not everyone is, but I tend to be very visual. Think of the kind of character. If you've seen Inside Out, I can absolutely relate to the fear part, the tall, green, gangly, like scared of everything part. I can also relate with the sad part, the sadness, the girl with the glasses, the blue chick who was sad. So when you notice these different parts come up, maybe characterize them a little bit, get to know them a little bit, find out what are their hot buttons, why do they flare up when they do, and what do they need to calm back down again. So we'll talk lots more about that later. What I just mentioned was, by giving you that exercise, was mindfulness in action. You're also going to hear me say a lot about this concept of mindfulness, and I'll elaborate more on that. Also, if you have not ever heard that term before or had experience with it, I encourage you to get online and just do a Google search about what is mindfulness. It's hugely helpful and hugely transformational. So we're going to talk a lot more about that. So that's all I kind of have for today, is just this encouragement to go inward and check out, like, what are these different parts of me? Maybe draw it out. The part of you that feels like it has to juggle 10,000 balls in the air at all times. Maybe there's a part of you that feels like you're the house secretary. Hey, you moms out there, I know this firsthand. Maybe you schedule the doctor's appointments, the dentist appointments, you are on the PTO club, you pay some of the bills, you keep the carpet vacuumed, you plan the groceries, you make the meals. You're kind of a secretary of the house. All beautiful things. But man, that can get exhausting sometimes. So all kinds of different things like that. Go inward, see if you can identify some of your own personal, unique parts. And we'll do more work on that later. In the meantime, check out the blogs that I have written. And there's one specifically around conflict and a magic trick that you can use during times of conflict when you're fighting with someone, whether it's a spouse, one of your kids, a coworker, a neighbor, a friend. And this magic trick is really helpful. And I think that it can change the way that we do adversity. So read up on that. I'm going to talk definitely more about that in a future video blog. It starts with mindfulness and going inward and noticing what some of our parts are that tend to come up during conflict. So check in with yourself about that. Think about it a little bit. Explore that whole notion, that whole idea, and then just keep tapping into this blog, this video blog, and the written blog to see what else comes up next, and expect to see a future one on conflict and adversity and how to deal with it by going inward and learning more about yourself. I hope you're having a great day. Take care.